The rain-slicked streets of Chicago gleamed under the streetlights. But Alex Carter's heart was a storm no city could contain. He stood outside the diner, fists clenched, staring at the neon sign that flickered like his resolve, Mom's Diner. Open 24/7. He hadn't spoken to his mother, Margaret, in 2 years. Not since the night he'd walked out, vowing never to let her poison seep into his life again. At 26, Alex had spent years untangling himself from her web of manipulation. Growing up, Margaret's love was a currency dangled, withdrawn, and weaponized. She'd mocked his dreams of becoming a playwright, called his bisexuality a phase to be fixed, and sabotaged every relationship he'd dared to nurture. The final straw was her betrayal with his college fund, siphoned off for her business ventures. He'd cut her off, moved to Chicago, and built a life with his partner, Jamie, a kind-hearted barista who saw the world in colors Alex was only beginning to understand. Tonight, though, something had pulled him back to this diner. Her diner, where she still played the charming matriarch to strangers. A text from an old friend. Lila, had arrived an hour ago. Your mom's dating someone new. You need to know who it is. Alex's stomach churned. Why did it matter? He was done with her. Yet here he was, standing in the rain, drawn to the truth like a moth to a flame. Inside, the diner smelled of coffee and grease. A nostalgic assault. Margaret was behind the counter, her silver blonde hair pulled into a tight bun, her smile as polished as ever. She hadn't seen him yet. Alex slipped into a booth, his leather jacket squeaking against the vinyl. Jamie slid in beside him, his warm hand finding Alex's under the table. You sure about this? Jamie whispered, his hazel eyes searching Alex's face. No, Alex admitted, his voice rough. But I need to know. Margaret's laughter rang out, sharp and performative, as she chatted with a man at the counter. He was tall, with salt and pepper hair and a calm demeanor that seemed out of place in her orbit. Alex's breath caught. The man turned, and the world tilted. Dr. Nathan Hayes, his former trauma therapist. The man who'd helped him survive the darkest years of his life. Who'd listened to every raw, jagged piece of his soul. Now, he was sitting there, smiling at Margaret like she was his salvation. Alex's vision blurred with rage and betrayal. How could Nathan, of all people, be with her? The man who knew every scar Margaret had left on his psyche. Jamie's grip tightened, grounding him. Alex, breathe, he said softly. We'll figure this out. The diner's hum faded as Alex's mind raced. Nathan had been his lifeline at 19, when panic attacks and self-doubt had nearly swallowed him whole. Their sessions had been a sanctuary until Nathan had moved away, leaving Alex to navigate his healing alone. Now, here he was, cozying up to the woman who'd caused that pain. It felt like a knife twisting in an old wound. Margaret's eyes finally landed on Alex. Her smile faltered, then widened, as if she could rewrite their history with a single gesture. Alex, darling, she called, striding over. What a surprise. Her voice dripped with false warmth, but her eyes were calculating, scanning Jamie like he was an obstacle. Save it, Alex snapped, standing. What the hell is he doing here? He jerked his head toward Nathan, who looked up, startled. Recognition dawned in Nathan's eyes, followed by something like guilt. Alex. Nathan stood, his voice steady but cautious. I didn't know you'd be here. Clearly, Alex spat. What are you doing with her? Margaret's hand fluttered to her chest, feigning offense. Now, Alex, don't be dramatic. Nathan and I met at a charity event. He's a good man. You should be happy for me. Happy? Alex's laugh was bitter. You don't get to play the victim here. Jamie stood, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. Let's take this outside, he said, his voice calm but firm. Nathan nodded, but Margaret's eyes narrowed, her mask slipping. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving the air heavy. Nathan faced Alex, his expression torn. I didn't know she was your mother when we met, he said. Not at first. And when you did, Alex demanded, you just stayed. Nathan's silence was answer enough. Alex turned away, his chest tight. Jamie stepped closer, his presence a quiet anchor. We don't owe them anything, Jamie said, his voice low but fierce. You decide what happens next. Alex looked back at the diner, at Margaret watching through the window, her face unreadable. He'd come for answers, but all he'd found was a new kind of chaos. Nathan's betrayal stung, but it was Margaret's shadow that loomed largest. He'd spent years running from her, but now, standing in the wet Chicago night, he knew running wasn't enough. He had to face her and whatever truth Nathan was hiding. The Chicago wind cut through Alex's jacket as he stood outside the diner, his breath visible in the chilly night air. Nathan's admission hung between them like a storm cloud, heavy with unspoken questions. Why had Nathan stayed with Margaret after learning who she was? Alex's mind churned, replaying every therapy session, every moment he'd trusted Nathan with his deepest fears. Had it all been a lie? Jamie's hand rested lightly on Alex's back, a silent reminder that he wasn't alone. You don't have to do this now, Jamie said, his voice steady. We can walk away. But Alex shook his head. Walking away felt like letting Margaret win again. He turned to Nathan, whose face was a mask of regret. You knew what she did to me, Alex said, his voice low, trembling with fury. You knew, and you're still with her. Why? Nathan ran a hand through his hair, glancing back at the diner where Margaret stood, her silhouette framed in the window. It's complicated, he said finally. She's different with me. Vulnerable. I thought I could help her. Help her? Alex's voice rose, drawing a curious glance from a passerby. She's a black hole, Nathan. She doesn't change. She just takes. Nathan's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. Instead, he said, I owe you an explanation. Alex, can we talk? Somewhere private. Alex hesitated. Part of him wanted to walk away, to protect the fragile peace he'd built with Jamie. But another part, the part that still ached from Nathan's absence years agone, answers. Fine, he said, but not here. They ended up at a quiet coffee shop a few blocks away, its warm lights a stark contrast to the diner's garish neon. Jamie sat close, his knee brushing Alex's under the table, a subtle tether. Nathan sat across from them, his hands wrapped around a steaming mug, his eyes avoiding Alex's. I met Margaret 6 months ago, Nathan began, at a fundraiser for a mental health clinic. She was charming, generous. She talked about her Sonia but never by name. Said you drifted apart, that she regretted it. I didn't put it together until later. Alex's laugh was sharp. Regretted it. She doesn't regret anything unless it stops serving her. Nathan flinched but pressed on. When I realized who she was, I confronted her. She admitted some things, but she also said she was trying to change, to make amends. I thought I could guide her, like I'd guided you. Guide her? Alex leaned forward, his voice laced with disbelief. You think you can fix someone who thrives on control? Jamie's hand squeezed Alex's knee, a gentle warning. Let him finish, Jamie said quietly. Nathan sighed. I know it sounds naive, but I've seen people change. Alex, I've seen you change. You were drowning when we met, and you fought your way out. I thought maybe she could, too. Alex's chest tightened. He remembered those sessions, Nathan's calm voice, his ability to make Alex feel seen without judgment. But this was different. You knew what she did to me, Alex said. The lies, the manipulation, the way she made me feel like I was nothing. And you still chose her. I didn't choose her over you, Nathan said, his voice breaking. I thought I could help her without hurting you. I was wrong. The admission landed like a punch. Alex leaned back, his mind racing. Jamie spoke up, his tone measured but firm. What's your endgame here? Nathan, you stay with her, knowing what she's done. Or are you just waiting for her to destroy you, too? Nathan's eyes flickered with something guilt. Maybe. Or fear. I don't know, he admitted. But I care about you. Alex. I never stopped. The words stung more than they should have. Alex wanted to believe them. But trust was a fragile thing. And Nathan had already cracked it. The coffee shop's hum filled the silence. The clink of cups and murmured conversations a stark contrast to the storm inside Alex. Let's go, Alex said abruptly. Standing. Jamie followed without question, his presence a quiet strength. Nathan didn't try to stop them, but his eyes followed Alex to the door, heavy with unspoken apologies. Outside, the city felt alive, its pulse matching Alex's racing heart. Jamie slipped his hand into Alex's, their fingers intertwining. You okay? He asked. No, Alex said, his voice raw. But I will be. They walked in silence for a while, the city's lights blurring into streaks of color. Alex's mind was a tangle of anger and hurt. But one thought stood out. Margaret was still pulling strings, even from a distance. And now, Nathan was part of her game. Alex didn't know what Nathan was hiding, but he knew one thing for sure: wasn't done fighting for his own peace. The next morning, Alex woke to the smell of coffee and the soft clatter of Jamie in the kitchen. Their small Chicago apartment was a sanctuary, filled with mismatched furniture and bookshelves overflowing with plays and poetry. But today, the warmth felt fragile, overshadowed by the weight of last night's confrontation. Alex lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, Nathan's words echoing. I thought I could help her. Jamie appeared in the doorway, holding 2 mugs. You look like you fought a war in your sleep, he said, handing Alex a coffee. His smile was gentle, but his eyes were sharp, searching. I feel like it, Alex admitted, sitting up. I don't get it. Jamie. Nathan knew what she's like. How could he fall for her act? Jamie sat on the edge of the bed, his knee brushing Alex's. People see what they want to see. Maybe he's looking for redemption or something. But that's his mess, not yours. Alex sipped his coffee, the bitterness grounding him. Jamie was right, but the betrayal still burned. Nathan had been more than a therapist, been a lifeline. Now, he was tangled up with Margaret, the one person who'd made Alex's life a battlefield. His phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Lila. Check your mom's social media. She posted about Nathan. Alex's stomach dropped. He opened the app, and there it was, a photo of Margaret and Nathan at a gala. Her arm looped through his, her smile radiant. The caption read, New beginnings with a man who truly understands me. The comments were a flood of heart emojis and congratulations. But to Alex, it was a declaration of war. She's parading him like a trophy, Alex said, tossing the phone onto the bed. She knows I'll see this. Jamie picked up the phone, his brow furrowing as he scrolled. She's baiting you, he said. Don't take it. But Alex was already spiraling. He'd spent years rebuilding himself, crafting a life where Margaret's shadow couldn't reach. Now, she was back, and she'd pulled Nathan into her orbit. It wasn't just personal, it felt like a violation of everything he'd fought for. I need to talk to him again, Alex said, standing, alone. Jamie's eyes narrowed. You sure that's a good idea? He's already messed with your head. I know, Alex said, but I need to understand why he's doing this. If he's really in love with her, or if she's got something on him. Jamie sighed but nodded. Okay, but I'm coming with you. I'll wait outside. They found Nathan at his office downtown, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago River. Nathan looked tired, his usual calm demeanor frayed at the edges. Alex, he said, standing as they entered. I didn't expect to see you so soon. I didn't expect to see you with her. Alex shot back. Jamie lingered by the door, giving them space but staying close. Nathan gestured to a chair, but Alex stayed standing. Tell me the truth, Alex said. Is she blackmailing you? Or are you just that blind? Nathan's face tightened. It's not blackmail, he said. But it's not what you think, either. Margaret, she's complicated. She's got her own demons. Alex, I thought I could help her face them. Demons. Alex's voice was sharp. She is the demon. You know what she did to me. The gaslighting. The control. The way she made me feel like I'd never be enough. And you're sitting there defending her. I'm not defending her, Nathan said, his voice rising. I'm trying to understand her. To help her be better. For you. For herself. For me. Alex cut in. Incredulous. You think staying with her is helping me? Nathan's shoulders sagged. I thought if I could change her, you might get some closure. I was wrong. Alex. I see that now. The admission hit hard, but it didn't erase the hurt. Alex paced, his hands clenched. You were my therapist, he said. You were supposed to protect me, not join her. Nathan's eyes glistened, but he didn't look away. I failed you, he said. I'm sorry. The apology hung in the air, heavy and insufficient. Alex wanted to scream, to demand more, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, he turned and walked out, Jamie falling in a step beside him. The city buzzed around them, oblivious to the storm inside Alex's chest. Nathan's regret was real, but it changed nothing. Margaret was still out there, pulling strings, and Alex knew this was far from over. The days that followed were a blur of restless nights and half-finished scripts. Alex's latest play, a raw exploration of identity and betrayal, stalled on his laptop, the cursor blinking like a heartbeat he couldn't control. Jamie tried to keep things light, cooking elaborate dinners and dragging Alex to open mic nights. But the shadow of Margaret and Nathan loomed over everything. One evening, while Jamie was at the coffee shop pulling a late shift, Alex found himself scrolling through old emails from Nathan. Session summaries, gentle encouragements, reminders to breathe through the panic. Each one was a reminder of the trust they'd built and how it had shattered. He slammed his laptop shut, his chest tight with anger and something deeper, something like grief. His phone rang, snapping him out of his spiral. It was Lila, her voice urgent. Alex, you need to see this. Your mom's hosting some big event at the diner tomorrow night. Nathan speaking. It's all over her socials. Alex's blood ran cold. He opened Margaret's page and saw the flyer, a night of healing guest speaker Dr. Nathan Hayes. The irony was a gut punch. Margaret, the architect of his pain, was now parading as a champion of mental health, with Nathan as her prop. He called Jamie, who was still at the shop. She's using him, Alex said, his voice shaking. She's turning my trauma into her brand. Jamie's voice was calm but firm. Then we go? We confront her. Together. She doesn't get to rewrite your story. The next night, the diner was transformed, strung with fairy lights and packed with people. Margaret held court, her smile dazzling as she introduced Nathan to the crowd. Alex and Jamie stood at the back, unnoticed for now. Nathan took the stage, his voice steady as he spoke about resilience and healing. But his eyes kept darting to Margaret, and Alex saw a flicker of unease. When the speech ended, Margaret invited questions. Alex's hand shot up before he could stop himself. The room turned, and Margaret's smile tightened as she saw him. Yes, Alex, she said, her voice syrupy. He stepped forward, his heart pounding. You talk about healing, he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. But what about the people you've hurt? What about the lies? The control? The way you break people to feel powerful? The room went silent. Margaret's face froze, but she recovered quickly, laughing lightly. Oh, Alex, always so dramatic. This is about moving forward, not dwelling on the past. Nathan stepped forward, his expression conflicted. Alex is right, he said, his voice cutting through the tension. Healing starts with accountability. And I haven't been honest. He turned to Margaret, his eyes hard. I can't do this anymore. Margaret's smile vanished. Nathan, darling, let's not. No, Nathan said, his voice firm. I thought I could help you, but you're using me to hurt him. I'm done. The crowd murmured, sensing the drama. Alex's heart raced. a mix of vindication and disbelief. Nathan was choosing him finally. But Margaret wasn't finished. She stepped closer, her voice low and venomous. "You think you can humiliate me in my own space?" she hissed. "You'll regret this. Both of you." Jamie grabbed Alex's arm, pulling him back. "Let's go," he said. "She's not worth it." Outside, Nathan caught up with them, his face pale. "I'm sorry," he said. "I thought I could fix her. I was wrong." Alex wanted to believe him, but trust was a long way off. "Prove it," he said. "Stay away from her. And don't ever think you can fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed." Nathan nodded, his eyes heavy with regret. As Alex and Jamie walked away, the city's lights felt brighter, the air lighter. But Alex knew Margaret wouldn't let this go. She'd lost control, and that made her dangerous. The fallout from the diner event rippled through Alex's life like a stone in a pond. Social media buzzed with speculation, some praising Alex's courage, others painting him as the villain in Margaret's carefully curated story. She posted a tearful video the next day, claiming Alex had misunderstood her intentions, that she only wanted to reconnect. The comments were a mix of sympathy for her and venom for him, and each one felt like a fresh wound. Jamie was Alex's rock, fielding calls from curious friends and keeping their apartment a safe haven. But even Jamie couldn't shield Alex from the growing sense of unease. Margaret wasn't done. She never was. And Nathan's defection only made her more unpredictable. A week later, Alex got a call from an unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something made him pick up. It was Nathan. "I need to see you," he said, his voice urgent. "There's something you need to know about Margaret." They met at a park near Lake Michigan, the wind carrying the scent of water and wet leaves. Nathan looked haggard, his usual polish gone. "She's planning something," he said. "I overheard her talking to a lawyer. She's trying to dig up dirt on your past, your relationships, anything to discredit you." Alex's stomach twisted. "Why? What does she gain?" "Control," Nathan said. "She can't stand that you're free of her. And now that I've walked away, she's doubling down." Jamie, who'd insisted on coming, crossed his arms. "So what's your play here?" "Nathan, you tell us this. Then what? You go back to being her lapdog." Nathan shook his head. "I'm done with her. But I owe Alex the truth. She's got connections. Alex. People who owe her favors. She's not just coming for your reputation, she's coming for your life." The words settled like ice in Alex's veins. He'd always known Margaret was ruthless, but this felt different. Personal. "What do I do?" he asked, hating how small his voice sounded. "Fight back," Nathan said. "Not with her tactics, but with yours. You're a writer. Alex, tell your story. Don't let her control the narrative." That night, Alex sat at his desk, his laptop open to a blank page. Jamie brought him tea, kissing the top of his head. "You've got this," he said. "You've always had the words." Alex started writing. Not a play, not fiction, but the truth. His truth. The years of Margaret's manipulation. The pain she'd caused. The strength it took to walk away. He wrote about Nathan, too, not with anger, but with honesty. About the betrayal and the hope for redemption. By dawn, he had a draft. Raw and unpolished, but real. He posted it online. A blog titled Breaking Free. It wasn't just for him, it was for anyone who'd ever felt trapped by someone else's control. The response was overwhelming. Messages poured in from strangers, from survivors, from people who saw themselves in his words. For the first time, Alex felt like he was taking back the power Margaret had stolen. But Margaret wasn't silent. She responded with a vicious post, accusing Alex of lying, of trying to destroy her. She even hinted at legal action. The comments were brutal, tearing into Alex's character. But Jamie was there, reading through them with him, reminding him who he was. "We keep going," Jamie said, his voice fierce. "She doesn't get to win." Alex nodded, his resolve hardening. He didn't know what Margaret would do next, But he was ready. For the first time, he felt like he was writing his own ending. The weeks that followed were a battle of words and wills. Alex's blog post had struck a nerve, and the support was a lifeline. But Margaret's counterattacks were relentless. She'd hired a PR firm, spinning a narrative of a misunderstood mother betrayed by her ungrateful son. Local news picked up the story, and suddenly Alex's life was under a microscope. Strangers debated his pain like it was entertainment. Jamie kept him grounded, planning quiet evenings and dragging Alex to the theater to remind him why he loved storytelling. But the stress was taking its toll. Alex's sleep was fractured, his dreams haunted by Margaret's voice, her cold eyes. He started seeing her everywhere in the crowd at the grocery store, in the reflection of a train window. Paranoia, he told himself, but it felt too real. Then came the letter. It arrived at their apartment, addressed to Alex in Margaret's elegant handwriting. Inside was a single page, her words dripping with false remorse. I only ever wanted the best for you. Let's meet. Just us. We can fix this. No mention of Nathan. No acknowledgement of the pain she'd caused. Just another attempt to pull him back into her orbit. Jamie read it over Alex's shoulder, his jaw tight. She's playing you, he said. Don't go. But Alex couldn't shake the pull. Not to reconcile, but to end it. I need to face her, he said. One last time. They met at a neutral spot, quiet park on the city's edge, far from the diner's glow. Margaret was waiting, dressed impeccably, her smile a carefully crafted weapon. Alex, she said, her voice soft. I've missed you. Don't, Alex said, his voice steady. This isn't about you missing me. It's about you trying to control me, even now. Her smile faltered, but she recovered quickly. You're so angry, she said. I made mistakes. Yes, but I'm your mother. Doesn't that mean anything? It means everything, Alex said, his voice breaking. That's why it hurts so much. You were supposed to love me, not break me. For a moment, Margaret's mask slipped, and Alex saw something regret, maybe, or fear. But then it was gone, replaced by cold defiance. You think you're better than me, she said. You're nothing without me. Alex stepped back, her words echoing the ones he'd heard as a child. But this time, they didn't cut as deep. I'm everything without you, he said, and I'm done letting you make me feel otherwise. He walked away, his heart pounding but lighter. Jamie was waiting by the car, his smile a beacon. Proud of you, he said, pulling Alex into a hug. That night, Alex wrote again. Not a blog, but a letter to himself, a promise to keep moving forward. He didn't need Margaret's approval, or Nathan's redemption. He had Jamie, his words, and the life he'd built. It was enough. But Margaret wasn't finished. A week later, Alex got an email from a lawyer. She was suing him for defamation, claiming his blog had ruined her reputation. The news hit like a tidal wave, threatening to pull him under. But as he sat with Jamie, their hands clasped, he knew he wouldn't face it alone. The lawsuit was Margaret's final weapon, a desperate bid to reclaim control. Alex stared at the legal documents, the words blurring into a sea of accusations. Defamation, emotional distress, financial loss. Each claim was a twisted version of the truth, painting him as the villain in her story. But this time, Alex wasn't the scared kid who'd believed her lies. He was ready to fight. Jamie rallied their friends, and Lila connected Alex with a lawyer, Sarah, who specialized in cases like this. Sarah was fierce, her eyes gleaming with determination as she read through Margaret's claims. She's got no case, Sarah said. It's all intimidation. We'll counter with the truth, your truth. The weeks leading up to the court date were grueling. Alex poured his energy into preparing, gathering evidence, old emails, text messages, even journal entries from his teenage years. Each one was a reminder of Margaret's cruelty, but also of his resilience. Jamie was there every step, cooking late-night meals and reading through drafts of Alex's testimony. You're stronger than she'll ever be, Jamie said one night, his voice fierce with love. Nathan reached out, too, offering to testify. Alex was wary, but Nathan's remorse seemed genuine. I let her manipulate me, Nathan said over coffee. I thought I was helping, but I was wrong. Let me make it right. Alex agreed, but he kept his distance. Trust was earned, and Nathan had a long way to go. The courtroom was stark, the air heavy with tension. Margaret sat across from Alex, her face a mask of composure, but her eyes betrayed her cold, calculating, desperate. When Alex took the stand, he told his story, not just for the judge, but for himself. He spoke of the years of manipulation, the stolen college fund, the way Margaret had mocked his identity. He spoke of finding love with Jamie, of building a life despite her. His voice shook, but it never broke. Nathan's testimony was quieter, but no less powerful. He admitted his mistake, his naivety in believing he could change Margaret. I failed Alex as a therapist, he said. I won't fail him now. Margaret's defense was a performance, tears and all, but it crumbled under Sarah's cross-examination. The evidence was undeniable. Margaret's own words, preserved in texts and emails, laid bare her cruelty. The judge dismissed the case, warning Margaret against further harassment. Outside the courthouse, the Chicago sky was clear, the city humming with life. Jamie pulled Alex into a hug, his laughter bright. You did it, he said. You're free. And for the first time, Alex believed it. Margaret's shadow would always linger, but it no longer defined him. He had Jamie, his friends, his words. He had himself. Months later, Alex's play premiered at a small theater in Wicker Park. It was his story, fictionalized but raw, a testament to survival and love. The audience wept and cheered, and Jamie's hand never left his. Nathan was there, too, in the back, a quiet presence. Alex nodded to him, a small gesture of peace. As the curtain fell, Alex stood on the stage, the applause washing over him. He'd faced his past, his pain, and come out stronger. Margaret was out there, somewhere, but she no longer had power over him. He'd written his own ending, and it was beautiful,